Welcome to this Octopath video on how to make early game XP. I'm your host Megalus, and in this video I'll be covering where to go, my initial party setup, and what items to take along with you. Quick disclaimer, there are other places where you can get more XP faster, and I'll cover those in an upcoming video, but they'll require to be a higher level. We'll be covering in this video you can do around level 15 to 20 and can easily get a little past level 30 fairly quickly. And as you can see from the gameplay clip, if you're lucky you can gain up to 8 levels in a single fight. So let's go. So first up, we're going to cover where to go, which is going to be a place called Carion Caves, which is west of Boulderfall and northwest of Clearbrook. As you can see in the background, we're actually headed up there right now from Clearbrook. That said, the initial party I would recommend to you would be Hanit as your main damage dealer with the skills Arrow Storm or Rain of Arrows, since these abilities are great for breaking enemies in this area, which are going to be mostly weak to arrow damage. Then next up, I would recommend Primrose with the skills Bewildering and Grace, which has a chance to increase your XP or job points earned by 2x, 5x, and in very rare cases, 100x. Also, her support skill, Eye for an Eye, which has a 50% chance to counterattack, which is great for breaking enemies in the area when you're attacked first, since enemies tend to be weak to knife attacks. Finally, in third, my recommendation is Theresa as your minor damage and another AoE breaker with her skill Tempest, which does AoE wind damage to foes, and you guessed it, they're weak to wind damage, the majority of the foes in Carion Caves. Then finally we have Alfyn with his concoct ability as your group AoE healer. Now you could take Ophelia as your healer if that's your preference. Personally, I chose Alfyn because with his concoct ability you can use Soothing Dust and Essence of Grape to perform an AoE heal, which heals for about 800 HP, which is quite a bit at the low levels, making him a better choice than Ophelia for early game. Just my opinion. So now that we're getting to the caves, I'll show you how the rotation works. So as you get into a battle, most of the enemies in the Carion Caves are going to be these birds. So what you're going to want to do is get to one of your characters who has an AoE break. So as you can see, Hanit has her arrows, Theresa has her emergent skills, particularly her trade Tempest. So that'll give you a break on all the enemies. So, and that's kind of what you want to do. You just want to break them, do your damage, break them again. And that's pretty much it. The fights take anywhere from a minute to maybe 3 if you're, a lot lower level or under leveled. But, as you can see, you can use Primrose, Bewildering Grace once you have several stacks. You can get some buffs or things can go wrong. In this case, I got double XP. And then, monster comes and heals up the party. But that's not a big deal. And the key to staying alive in these fights is just using Alfyn's Concoct and Soothing Dust with Essence of Grape, and it'll heal your party for 800. And then it's just back to doing your damage. So AoE break, damage, get your levels. So you can get about, anywhere from 120 to almost 300 XP per encounter. Now, what I was talking about before, if you're really lucky, you'll run into something like a cait, and that's where you really make a ton of XP. So if you have a cait, my suggestion is use a Soulstone if you have one, preferably, like a medium Soulstone. That'll take out the cait in one shot, and the best thing you could hope for is if you get a cait, with, these bird enemies, what'll happen is if one of them lives, then you can just kind of defend, stack up Bewildering Grace until you get, an XP multiplier. In my case, I got a 5x XP multiplier, so as you can see, it gets kind of crazy. You got 5,000 XP in a single shot. You can't really beat that. And while I was doing this run, that happened that I ran into a cait twice in under an hour, so technically you could really get over, 10 to 15,000 XP pretty reasonably. So anyways, that's pretty much it. That's the video of how to get early game XP. I hope you guys liked it. Subscribe, turn on notifications if you'd like to see more Octopath videos.